In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, Amen. Well, my goal is that I want to prove to you that the Scriptures are easy to understand. A lot of people think the Scriptures are hard to understand. They're not hard to understand. They're only hard to understand if you don't do them. If you don't do what's in the Scriptures, then you don't understand. Just like, do all of you ride bikes? Is it hard to ride a bike? Some people think it's hard to ride a bike. The ones that haven't ridden one before. So some kid who's, let's say, 3 years old says, oh, that looks really hard. But once he rides it, it's easy, isn't it? That's the way the Scriptures are. If you do the Scriptures, if you live a good life, if you try to be obedient, to be kind, to love everyone, including people that maybe you don't always get along with, if you do those things, then the Scriptures are easy to understand. They really are. So I'm going to start with the reading from Hebrews. Hebrews is an epistle of St. Paul that we read in the church for the epistle. And it's complicated, but also it's not that complicated. So I hope that you already know the answers when I ask you the questions, but I think we can figure out the answers together. Now, he talks about the law. And the law is a complicated thing. The law is the Jewish law. Because St. Paul was a Jew, he was preaching to a lot of Jews, and he was preaching to other people who weren't Jews as well. But he was trying to teach them about Christianity, and they only knew about the law. And the law was basically, don't do this, don't do that. Honor your mother and father, do not commit murder, do not steal. Things like that, from the Ten Commandments and other commandments. And they tried to follow the law, but well, how good do you guys do? Are you good every single day? 100%? No. Augustine, are you good 100% every day? No, he's not. I'm not either. Nobody in this room is 100% good every day. But the law said you had to be 100% good. Nobody can do that. So they would do sacrifices. And then they'd have forgiveness of sins. But then they go right back to sinning. Almost that same second, they go back to sinning. So, the law didn't change people. What's important in your life, you should know, is that you be changed. Don't do something and just keep doing it again and again if it's a bad thing to do. Learn how to do something better. It should matter to you that you learn things and that you do things that are good for you, that make you change into good things. So that's why, for instance, I'm sorry you guys, I hate video games. I consider them completely useless. All they do is get people charged up and sometimes kind of aggressive and waste time. And I know people that have told me that they've spent 10 or 12 or 14 hours playing a video game. The whole day. Did they say their prayers after that? What do you think? No, they didn't. So, I think video games are not very useful at all. Not at all, actually. And so, there's other things like that as well. You should try to do things that are good for you. Now, let's not pretend. All of us do things that waste time. That's because we're sinners. But we should try to not waste time. So, the law cannot be fulfilled in us except because of something that happened. And what is that? Do you know? What helps us to fulfill the law? He talks about it here. I know it was a very long epistle, and it had a lot of big words in it. I get it. So probably you didn't really hear all of it or much of it. Let me see if I can find. We are sanctified, meaning sanctified is like made holy, set apart, made special, through the offering of the body of Jesus Christ once and for all. That's what will help you. Actually, not just help you, it's the reason why you can become perfect. Because Jesus Christ became man, just like you and me, except he never sinned. He was 100% good. And he's teaching us how to do that, how to become 100% good. Of course, that's not something like if you read in a book about, building a rocket, you think you can build a rocket? Why not? Well, you don't have the factory, you don't have the metalworking skills, You don't have enough engineering skills. There's no way you can build a rocket. Now that would work, right? But you could read about it. So reading about something isn't becoming that thing. Jesus Christ not only tells us what to do, but he helps us to do it. And that's basically what this epistle says. That the law, the sacrifices of the law, where people would ask forgiveness of sins, would go on forever. Forever. And people would never be changed. But that's no good. We want to be changed. Right now it's exciting because Ezra climbs everywhere, and he sometimes can stand up and not fall. And sometimes he scoots along the couch. I guess they call it cruising. You hold on to something and you kind of walk. You guys, walking's easy. But when you were less than a year old, it wasn't easy. And now we're waiting for Ezra to take his first steps. And we're kind of saying, when's he going to do it? I think he's going to do it before he's a year old. Well, he better hurry, because I think in about a month he's going to be a year old. Because he was born in February. So we're hoping he will. So we want him to change. Would we be happy if Ezra crawled the rest of his life? No. Look at all the beautiful things you can do when you walk and when you run and when you jump and when you do things because you can be on two legs. Ezra can't do that yet. But he's getting there. He's getting there. And we want him to get there. So it's important to change and get better. And in the Christian life, it's important to change and get better. So you're 3 brothers, which means that you fight. So that's not the right thing to do. You should try to get better, right? Try to be more kind to each other, nicer to each other, because that's the right way to live. Now, I understand. Sometimes you fight. Sometimes you get in disagreements. That's what people do who are sinful. And you're sinful, and I'm sinful. We're all sinful. But we should try to be better. And Jesus Christ is the one that helps us to be better. So that's basically a very simple overview of that epistle reading. It's a lot more complicated than that. But I'm trying to prove to you that you can read something and you know that it's not all that hard to understand. Now, I saved the best for last because this is really easy to understand. This is from the Gospel of St. Mark. He says, "Be having faith in God." That is, Jesus says this. "For verily I say to you that whosoever shall say to this mountain, be taken away and cast into the sea, and does not doubt in his heart, and shall believe what he said is going to come to pass, it shall be to him whatever he shall say." Can you cast mountains into the sea? You think that's possible? He thinks it's possible. You think it's possible. What do you think? You think you can take a whole big mountain and throw it into the sea? No. Actually, mountains have moved before with the prayer people. One time, Elizabeth was running away from people who were trying to kill John the Baptist. He was just a baby. Just a baby, not even a year old. And they were running away, and they were going to get caught by the soldiers. So she prayed, and a mountain opened up like a big tunnel for her. She ran through the tunnel, and the tunnel closed, and the soldiers couldn't find her. That's moving a mountain. There's another time when a father was talking to somebody and was quoting this. If you have faith, you can move mountains. Like you could say to this mountain, and he pointed to a mountain, "Be cast into the sea." And the mountain started to move. And he says, no, don't move. Seriously. It is possible, literally, to cast a mountain into the sea. But you think that's what he really meant by this, that we should all try to throw mountains into the sea? No. What he means is, no matter how hard something is, if you pray with faith, God will help you with it. That's what he means. So that's pretty easy to understand. If you pray with faith, and if you are trying to live a good life, then God hears your prayers. That's exactly what this means. Pretty simple. And then he says, "On this account I say to you, all things whatsoever you shall ask for yourselves when you pray, keep on believing that you will be receiving them, and they shall be for you." I know that's kind of a long sentence. Basically, he's saying this. When you're praying for something, keep praying for it. You pray for your dad? Pray for him all the time. Pray for him every day. Every day. And let's say you're praying for something. Let's say you have an uncle who's sick. Pray for them every day. Maybe they'll still be sick, but maybe God will heal them. You must pray for them every day. And if you believe, God will help you. So it's important to keep praying for things every day. That's why you should always say prayers in the morning and always say prayers in the evening, to do things consistently so that you can build up your faith. Because the more you do something, the better you are at it. Right? Isn't that true? Like bike riding. When you first started bike riding, did you fall down? No, you didn't fall down. I think you did. But now you don't fall down, right? Now you probably even do jumps, right? You ever do jumps? When I was a kid, we used to, get some concrete blocks or something and some plywood and have these jumps and go over these jumps and stuff like that. Sometimes they were very high. Sometimes it was very dangerous what we did. Because in my day, nobody wore a helmet at all. But we did all that crazy kind of stuff. But we were good at it because we'd done it so often, right? Hardly ever fell. I don't remember ever falling. I probably did. So one more thing. And this is the most important part. And this is the easiest part of everything we've talked about to understand. Because it's right there. Boom. You just see it and believe it and do it. He says, whenever you stand praying, be forgiving if you have anything against anyone, in order that your Father who is in the heavens might also forgive you your sins. But if you don't forgive, neither will your Father who is in the heavens forgive your sins. Is that hard to understand? If you forgive, God will forgive. If you don't forgive, God will not forgive you. It's very important. People don't like this one because they want to hold on to anger against people. Maybe even you know somebody that you get angry at and you keep being angry about them and you don't really forgive them because you don't think they treat you nice. You should pray for them and actually pray for them with a prostration every day, because you must forgive people if you want to be forgiven. Now, when you pray for your dad or for your mom or for your sister, do you want God to do the things you're asking? Yes or no? No? You don't want God to do the things you're asking? Let's say you say, Lord, have mercy on my sister. Don't you want God to have mercy on your sister? What do you think? Yeah. But if you don't forgive people, when God hears your prayer, he goes, I'm not listening to him, because he's not forgiving people. Because that's the most important thing. You forgive people, and then God hears your prayer. So it's right there in the Bible. It's not complicated. And if we keep doing this, if God allows us to do this for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 10, then you'll see that the scriptures are not that complicated. And you'll start to love the scriptures. I want you to love the scriptures more than a Spider-Man comic book. I want you to love the scriptures more than a video game. That's what I want for you. Or more than a TV show. Because the scriptures are beautiful. So a TV show might be interesting. It might not even be a nice thing to do. But it's not going to change you. The scriptures are going to change you. Make you a better person. Make you a happier person. Have God in your heart. So that's why we should read the scriptures. Christ is born.